All right. Well, we're on chapter 3 of the Bhagavatam, Suka's prayer to the Lord. And quite a beautiful, quite a beautiful prayer here. O thou supreme Lord, or Lord Supreme, I bow down to you. You know, this is the first thing that we talked about this morning in my class downtown. We looked at Bhagavati in the new in I was going to say the New Testament. You know, we talked about Bhagavati in the New Testament of Ramakrishna, and and that's all about how to approach God, right? She at first does not approach God. She sits in the back of the room, right? Ramakrishna asks her, "Have you been? Have you served the holy men?" You know, and she says, "How can I say that?" Well, he asks her that because he knows that her mind is worldly, right? He knows it says that she had led an immoral life in her youth. And so the first question he asks her about the holy men was because that's one of the main ways that we develop devotion is through acts, unselfish acts of service, right? And so through unselfish acts is how we develop our inner purity, our devotion and love for God. So that's why he asks her that first question. And then the second question he asks, because she said no, the second question he says, well, have you gone on pilgrimage, to any of these holy places? Because that's also one of the early teachings for people whose mind is engaged in worldliness to help them purify it and bring it to center. And she says no to that. And then she thinks of something that she has done. I have built a bathing ghat, right, for everybody. And so Ramakrishna says, "Oh, very good." So he encourages her. Well, she takes that encouragement and goes forward to touch his feet. When she entered, she knew her conscience wasn't clear. She sat in the back. But now she's been encouraged by what she's done, right? And so now she's going to go touch Rak Thakur's feet. She does that, and it stings him like a scorpion. And he has to run up and get that water from he's panting and trying to get that water on where she touched him, right? Why? Because she approached him on her own merit, right? Her own merit told her to sit in the back of the room. So she sat in the back of the room, but then she found something meritorious that she had done by building that ghat, right? And so because she was still in ego space and was still finding her value by what she did, the way she acted or her behavior, she approached God and touched him and found that she couldn't, because Ramakrishna, she wounded him, and he jumped up and panting runs across the room, puts Ganges water on it, comes back and sits down, and then sings her a beautiful song about what? Dive deep, O mind, find the gems that lie hidden, strewn around the courtyard of the heart, right? And go into the heart and find, the greatest gem of all, which is the presence of God. And so you see, he teaches her how to approach God, right? He says, approach God because God is in you and because the image of God is your value. The image of God is your grace. The image of God is your safety in the presence of God. What you've done, what you are, your conditions and your circumstances will never earn you a place in the presence. They form ego and come from ego. They cannot allow you in the presence in peace. And so he's teaching us that we approach God how? O Lord Supreme, I bow down to thee. We bow down in humility. We approach the Lord, right? The humility meaning leaving our ego self outside. And we approach because we know God's love for us. And we are secure because we know God's grace for us. And we have courage because we know God's mercy for us. And so we approach God in that way. O Lord Supreme, I bow down to you. For your sole pleasure and play did you bring forth this universe, right? And so this is wonderful. The universe is for the bliss of God. But who is God? You. And so God's telling you why you created the universe. For your own pleasure and play did you bring this universe forth, right? You are the highest in the highest, Who can sing your infinite glory? Right? So here you see how Suka is nothing about himself so far. He's entering into prayer, and he has left his ego self outside. He's praised God, and recognized him as the creator of the universe. Tells him he's the highest of the highest. Who can sing your glory? Right? Nobody can, because the glory of the Lord is beyond space and time. So words could not possibly do it. So who could sing your glory? You are the innermost ruler of every heart. Right? So God is ruling in your heart. What is he ruling? You. Your paths are mysterious. Your ways are blessed. Right? So your ways are mysterious, which means they're infinite. They cannot be known. Right? You cannot fit them in the mind. You cannot make a rule or a law that holds them. You cannot describe them. God's ways are mysterious. They're the ways of love. They're the ways of purity. Right? And they're outside of cause and effect. So they're not describable by us. We cannot know all of the circumstances that would be necessary for describing the glories of God. Your paths are mysterious. Your ways are blessed. Why? Because they are all of the nature of Satchit Ananda. Everything that comes from the divine beloved is an inspiration of pure love and pure wisdom. So this tells you where to stand to look at the world around you. Insist that everything you see is an act of love. And sit there and hold it in your space until you can see it as an act of love and understand how love can look that way. Right? Even in the violence, as Vivekananda makes this little exercise clear. He says it is for love alone that the murderer murders, for love alone that the lover of God loves. It's for love alone that we have a family, that we raise children. Love is the only motivating force in the universe, and when we understand that thoroughly, we see that all ways are blessed. Even the wrong ways are blessed because they punish us with suffering when we act in outside of our nature. And so they bring about the pain that pushes us back on the path. So even the wrong moves are blessed, right, in this world. That's why we suffer. We don't suffer needlessly. We suffer for an education. We suffer because we're living contrary to our divine nature, right? And so all ways are blessed. You wipe away the tears of your devotees, right? All those times when we have that burden, because we can approach the Lord freely for his love, then we can always go to him in any condition and receive from that love, be comforted in that love. Right? So you wipe away all the tears of your devotees. You destroy the wickedness of the wicked. Right? How does he destroy our wickedness? By teaching and training us and treating us as if we were realized, as if we knew that we were children of the divine, that we were reflections of the divine presence, that we are that, right? So he destroys your wickedness by teaching you and unveiling your eyes from what you are, so that you can see your nature and understand how to determine what needs to be done in this world. You are love, so act according to love. You are wisdom, so act according to the wise. You exist, so be present. Silence the mind, purify the mind. You destroy the wickedness of the wicked. Your form is purity itself, and you give purity and self-knowledge to those who seek you. Right? I like this in the sense that purity itself, pure purity is what? The complete absence of selfishness. Right? So it's so his form is purity itself. Right? His form, you touch him. That's why Ramakrishna stung like a scorpion, because he absorbed the sin or the wrongdoing of Bhagavati. That's why he died of cancer. Holy Mother, her feet used to burn because she absorbed the sins of all of her devotees, all who touched her, all who came and saluted her, right? So his form is purity itself. To touch him, to know him, to be in his presence is to be purified. And you give purity and self-knowledge to those who seek you. So this is where our enlightenment comes from. He gives it to us. We don't earn it. We don't work it out. We don't progress along a path toward it. He gives it to us, and he gives it to us of his own will, of his own account, whenever he's ready to do that. It is ours to be patient, to surrender in patience before him, to expose and enjoy ourselves to, and to enjoy his presence in ourselves. That's our practice, to be available for him to do his work, to purify our mind, to give us that purity gift, to give us our freedom. Your form is purity itself. You give us purity, and you give us self-knowledge to those who seek you, right? To those who want it. He's not forcing himself on anyone. You come when you come, and you get God when you get God. Salutations to you again and again, O Lord of hosts, again and again, because this will never end. Everything you will ever experience or enjoy is a gift to you from the beloved, and it will be again and again and again and again. His grace is continually flowing in our lives.
And Swamiji,
yes,
could I just add that that's just listening to read and talk, that's what I was picking up. It's like this endless shower of grace.
that's right.
It's
It
just
is.
like a fountain of grace.
Yes. And your
Yeah, and then you
practice is to
said
sit.
grace, and yes,
Yes, sit in that fountain and accept that
yeah,
grace and surrender. Find
mm,
your courage in that grace and surrender. Find your strength in that grace and let go.
mm,
Yes.
thank
I,
you.
I praise you, O Lord. You are the strength and support of all your worshipers. All right, what does this mean? He's our only refuge, right? He is our support. That means that when you go to fight lust, don't go by yourself. Don't go on your own thinking I'm going to control myself and not engage in lust right now. Don't do it. Leave lust where it is and turn your eyes and your mind toward God and just sing the name, because he is your strength and he is your support, right? He's the one that's going to win that battle for you. Look at that king we read about in that chapter a couple chapters ago. He just sat in the shrine room for the whole battle, walked out to find the battle completely won because of his faith in God, because he placed his well-being completely in the hands of God, refused to act on his own. And Krishna came down himself and won that battle for him, right? A worldly mind will say, oh, but that's not reasonable. If you just sit there, he should have been out there. He was the king. That was his duty, blah, 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 blah. Yes, there are logical reasons around and through and up and down through all possibilities of scripture. Listen to your heart, not to your mind. Find that faith in the heart. The heart doesn't care about whether it's logical or reasonable. The heart knows if it's love or not. Right? You are the strength and support of all your worshippers. You are manifest in the hearts of all true yogis. What does that mean? What's a true yogi? A true yogi is a sincere and earnest seeker who has eliminated their ego. When someone eliminates their ego, what manifests? You are manifest in the hearts of all true yogis. It is God himself, herself, that manifests, that beauty. That's what makes a Jesus a Jesus. It's what made Buddha Buddha. It makes Ramakrishna Ramakrishna. It makes Holy Mother Holy Mother. That beloved can manifest in everything, and whatever she manifests in is beautiful and full of power and full of strength and self-luminous, right? Anything that Mother touches. You manifest in the hearts of all true yogis. The evildoer finds you not, because what is an evildoer? It's someone who is prompted by their senses, prompted by their memories, prompted by their experience, by their mind, right? Those people bound in egoism which is what that is. When you create a thought of yourself in your mind and live according to that thought of yourself and its attributes, then you cannot find God. You cannot see God, right? That is because Maya and egoism are synonyms. The evildoer doesn't find you. You are the one without a second. Indeed. Self-explanatory. He is the only goal, the only thing that needs to be done. He's the fulfillment of all things we seek. He's the check to all desires, because he is that fullness that you long for. He is that oneness that gives you security and strength. He is that infinite that is finally big enough for you to stretch your infinite self out in and enjoy that stretch, right? You shine in your own glory, right? He cannot be stained or made impure, right? He's the white screen of the movie. You can play any movie you want on there, any movie, and that movie can talk about anything it wants to talk about. That screen is unchanged. Whether it's the movie of a prostitute or a movie of a saint, the screen is unchanged. And so God can contain this whole world. He can show this movie of the play. And there can be wickedness, and there can be evil, and there can be good doing, and there can be love. God is untouched by all of it, right? Unmarked by all of it. What sweetness is in your name? Anybody who does japa practice knows what he's talking about here. It is the name that wakes the bliss up inside. It's the name that reminds us of the bliss that's humming in the background of our nature all the time, right? It's the name that leads us back to it, so that it gives us awareness of it again. Because all of us have this constant, steady hum of bliss in us from our being. But because it's steady, because it's unchanging, the mind long ago filtered it out as unimportant. The mind pays only attention to things that are threats and the things that are moving, right? And so you have to be reminded of your bliss, because you stopped hearing it. You stopped feeling it, because it was just a steady, unchanging hum. So the mind clears it out. So sweetness is in your name. What joy is in your remembrance, right? When you sit there and realize who it is that's manifesting in your heart. When you sit there and contemplate and it becomes real to you, what is actually manifesting in your heart, it's overwhelming to you, right? What joy is in your remembrance. Those who chant your holy name and meditate on you become forever free from all evils. Why? What are evils? Evils are the me and mine of the body, the me and mine of the mind, right? Because that has been removed and been replaced with your true nature. You are free from all evils, because the cause of all evils has been moderated in you through grace. You've moved your campsite from the mind to the heart, and now you're camping with God. You got your little tent, your little pup tent set up, and you and God are just in there eating campfire popcorn and a glass of water every night together. The wise, worshiping your feet, conquer all fear of life and death. Right? Because they realize they are life itself. They cannot die. So you conquer the fear of life and death because you transcend them. They are trinkets. They are toys for your play. You are the divine self, ever free and ever pure, ever blissful. Right? Thus do they realize you, supreme goal of all seekers. Before you, there is no barrier of caste or race or creed. Right? Why? Because we leave that all laying in the courtyard when we enter the shrine. We don't drag our past with us into the shrine.
Interesting that even back way then,
Uh-huh.
there was caste.
Oh yeah, even more so than now, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this is a gajillion years ago.
Yeah. Oh, caste goes all the way back. It's interesting because the Jews also had caste. They broke it up into the tribes, the 12 tribes, and each tribe had its specific duty. Levi was the Brahmins, the tribe of Levi. They were the Brahmins, and they had their band of warriors as well. I can't remember what the name of the tribe was. So yes, every society has caste. Our society has caste. We have places that homeless people are untouchables. We won't let them sit next to us on the bus. We won't let them in the restaurants, right? They don't have the rights that the rest of us do. Now, it's not written down anywhere. We didn't plan it out and say, hey, we have a caste of untouchables, right? If we actually admitted it, then we'd have to shut up about pointing at India all the time, right? The fact is, every society has the same groups, even the same partitions in it, because it's just a description of what is necessary for a society to progress, right? All the components are necessary. You need a spiritual component. You need a working component. You need the untouchables, the people who do the work that just not everybody else is going to be willing to do. You need
Here the traders are the highest.
the traders. Yes, yeah,
Versus
here the merchant.
India was the
That's right.
merchants. They
You're right.
are the highest caste.
That's right.
So people who
That's the
trade
beauty
stuff.
of India. Yeah. The beauty of India, that their top caste is spiritual. Our top caste is money makers.
Money, yeah.
Right. I saw that when I went to Italy for the first time. I stumbled into one of their piazzas there, where there was a church, and in that church, it was a church just full of tombs, beautiful marble carved tombs. And they were the tombs of Galileo, the tombs of Machiavelli, the tombs, of all of these great scholars, great artists, great poets. And I thought about America. Who gets our great tombs here? Politicians.
Mm-hmm.
If you can even imagine such a thing. But in Italy, it's their artists and their thinkers and their poets who get the beautiful tombs. So it's a real thing to look at there. So before you, there is no barrier of caste or race or creeds. So you can take that anyway. You can know that none of those things matter. That's why me, as some pasty white dude, am allowed to be a monk in the Ramakrishna order. That's a shocking thing. I was given a sacred thread, when I took my brahmacharya. That's a shocking thing. And I had to cut that off, during my sannyas ceremony and burn it with everything else. This was an enormous privilege for me. For tens of thousands of years, somebody like me would never have been allowed to touch these truths or to hear these things. And now, by the grace of the beloved, these demonstrated that all caste and all these and barriers are thrown off, caste, race, and creed. So I can be a white, Christian boy and bathe in Thakur's bath, sit with he and his wonderful, I'll be like, I can hardly say it, even though I know Vivekananda did. I was going to say, I get to hang out with his wife, right? With the Holy Mother. Because it's always staggering to me that Vivekananda only mentioned Ramakrishna and Holy Mother really in one lecture, and he refers to him as that old man and his wife. Indeed. So, where are we here? Boom, boom, boom. All your children attain purity through your holy name, right? That's very important. How do you attain purity? By working real hard, by meditating all the time, by practicing 12 hours a day. No, it's not by what you do. It's by the name of God, right? Yours is not the one to do the purifying. Yours is the one to make yourself available to God, right? And God will change you, and God will bring you to your realization, and God will purify your heart and will purify your mind. It's yours to be available. All your children attain purity through your holy name. Calm souls worship you, knowing that they are one with you. Calm souls. These are the ones who worship him. This is you and me. We're calm, meaning what? We're patient. We're regular. We're without expectation. We're simply placing ourselves in the most beautiful place we can be, in silence before the Lord, in silence before the light of awareness in our own heart. Right? Calm souls worship you. Why? Because they know that they're one with you. By your grace, by your love, I am one with the Lord. And so I sit there and practice, not trying to be one with the Lord, but trying to accept the fact that I am one with the Lord. Right? And so we get filled up that way. We know that we are one with you. You are the Lord supreme. You are indeed the Vedas. He is the amness of the moment, the wisdom of the moment. He's the reason that we learn from life, right? Because he is that life. He is that moment. You are indeed the Vedas. You are indeed the truth. You are the goal of all discipline. You see, and just simply by chanting his name, all of these things that he is what is being invoked within you. So you can't just say, oh, you're invoking God and the form of God's going to be in you and that cool. No. What's going to be in you? All the Vedas. As you allow God to manifest in you, the Vedas are manifesting in you. You come to the point where you can write them down simply from your experience of the moment. You can reproduce the Vedas because that which is the Vedas is within you. And to realize it and surrender to it is to become it yourself. You are the truth, right? You are integrity, that knowledge. You are the goal of all discipline, right? I discipline myself simply to have you, simply to be with you. Your lovers meditate on your blissful form. Why? Because it is only a blissful form, always a blissful form. It will always produce its effect within you. It will always lift you up. It will always inspire you. It will always bring you back to your center. It will always leave you in peace. Lovers meditate on your blissful form and become lost in the joy thereof. Right? You're lost in the joy. That's yours. Your joy of recognition. Your joy of acceptance. Your joy of the fruit of your faith. That you have been given a chance independent of any cause. That you've gotten an invitation independent of how you look, act, think, or are. Shower your grace upon me, O Lord, and in your mercy look upon me. Because that's how he looks at you. Divine mercy and divine grace. He does not see the faulted you that you see. He does not see the egoistic you that you suffer through. What does he see? Himself, his own image, shining steadily in you. And through his love, he wants you to see it and know it as well, to find freedom in it. You are the Lord of wealth. You are the Lord of all creation, the Lord of all your lovers and devotees. Look upon all beings with your mercy. See, this is where practice ends. Practice ends when it becomes service of all. At first, it's me, 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 God, me, God, me, God, me, God, right? That's the story of the calf. Then finally, to who, thou, thou, right? The end of practice is thou, thou. We have annihilated our own ego and we live for the welfare and love of others. Look upon all beings in your mercy. Blessed are they that meditate on your lotus feet, for they shall be purified. Blessed are they that are purified, for they shall attain self-knowledge. The wise call you the impersonal without attributes. They also call you the personal God with divine attributes, because they're the same. They're the same. They are one and the same. You are both, and you manifest yourself as the one or the other according to our understanding. Right? So he's both of them simultaneously. It really depends on where you're standing on the mountain you're climbing as to what view you're going to get of the divine. It's a matter of perspective. In the beginning, God looks far away, looks like he's other. We can't imagine him living in this thing, this place. Right? But by the end, we're skipping down the street, putting flowers on our own head, right? And singing the name of God. O Lord, forever look in mercy upon me. Right? May I always be able to have this confidence, because my confidence comes from your mercy, not from my performance, not from my doing. My confidence comes from your mercy. My confidence is in your heart, not my heart. Yes, continued Suka, addressing King Parikshit, the Lord is the embodiment of tapas, and only by practicing tapas may be realized. It is said that when Brahma was desirous of creating, he sought anxiously to learn through what knowledge he could acquire the necessary power. While he was thus engaged, he heard a voice from the void saying, Tapa. He started at the sound and looked around for the speaker, but seeing no one, he understood it to be the voice of God. So in accordance with the command of the Lord, he began to practice tapas by controlling the breath, the organs of sense, the mind. This he did for many, many years. Right? So even Suka is having to practice for many, many years, right? To acquire this or to know this.
I think it's Brahma, Swami.
Brahma,
It's
yes.
Brahma, not Suka. Actually,
Oh, I'm
Suka
sorry. Yeah,
yes.
of course. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Brahma is the creator.
Right. At last, God, pleased with Brahma's faithful and unswerving devotion to tapas, revealed unto him the Vaikuntha, the heavenly abode, where there is no sorrow nor any fear. Brahma then saw God in his true nature, whereupon the Lord of love addressed him thus, O thou first created, I am indeed well pleased with you. The highest good, the supreme goal, is to know me as I am. Through my grace you have known me and known my highest abode. Right? So isn't that beautiful there? Well pleased with you. The highest good, the supreme goal, is to know me as I am. Right? And since thou art that, it's to know you, to know yourself as you are, not as you think yourself to be, but as you are. The highest good, the supreme goal, is to know me as I am. Through my grace, right? Once again, how are we going to get there? Through God's grace. And how do we get there through grace? Because we trust in it, we accept it. And through accepting it, we set down our karmas. Through setting down our karmas, we lose our ego. Through losing our ego, we see our beloved. Through my grace have you known me and known my highest abode. O you sinless one, when thou didst hear the voice saying unto you, Tapa, it was I who spoke. Tapas is my heart, yea, even my very soul. By the power of tapas alone do I create, preserve, and destroy the universe. Tapas is my strength. Before this universe came to be, I was. When the universe shall have passed away, I shall be. At the heart of the universe, throughout the cycle of its existence, I am. I am all this, eternal, without beginning, without end, I am. Therefore, O king, one must practice tapas if one would know the truth. Right? Yes, we have to. Tapas is just the practices that help us control ourselves, help us be able to see the more subtle regions of our inner world, where we can find out the truth of who we are. We can see directly who we are, right? We can see things and understand things that cannot be spoken, that simply cannot be contained in the mind, but we can know them in the self, in the soul. We can know them through direct experience alone. Right? I love this when he says here, before the universe came to be, I was. When the universe shall have passed away, I shall be. At the heart of the universe, throughout the cycle of its existence, I am. What is all of this? It's the moment, right? God is this moment. The moment has no beginning, no end. This moment is all pervading. It is everywhere. This moment does not pass. It is outside of time, right? This moment is another name for God, the I am. That's what isness is. Isness is the moment, an awareness of the moment, right?
There's an eternality there, Swamiji.
Yes. And when you say eternality, what do you mean by eternality?
Well, it's hard to put into words.
Mm.
It's also, yeah, it just, yeah, in some ways it reminds me of the prologue of Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word became, and so
Yeah.
on. This sort of absence of separation, all-encompassing oneness. It's, yeah, just hard to articulate. It's
Yeah.
felt in the heart rather than reduced to words.
Well, eternity is outside of time. It just means
Mm,
unmeasurable by time. You
mm,
can't measure it. It's like taking a desk ruler to measure the mountains.
mm,
Simply cannot be done. Uh,
mm,
they are just simply of a different scale. Eternity doesn't mean a long time. Eternity means it cannot be measured.
mm.
It cannot be contained. Uh,
Yeah.
everything in its existence is.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can get a taste of your own eternity. This is one of the first gems that you'll find in yourself when you touch silent mind for a split second. It's one of the gems that lay out in the courtyard of the heart that Ramakrishna sings to Bhagavati about, right? Eternity. Because when you touch that silent space, when you come out of that meditation, you realize you've been sitting there for hours and it felt like minutes. And you're like, wow, what was that? That's eternity. You experienced eternity. Time passed around you without you being in it. Right? And you step back into it, and you realize, oh, it's 2 hours later. Oh my God. Wow, what happened? Well, you touched part of your nature. You realized a moment of your eternity, as it were. Right? So this is why this is what happens. That's why Ramakrishna described it that way. So many of the things that we need to learn, we will learn in that moment of silence. Right? So many of the things that are almost not understandable in normal mind are easily seen in that the divine silence within you, when nothing but the self is showing you what you are. The mind is no longer telling you in words, which would always be untrue because words cannot describe you. And so as long as you live in ego, you do not know who you are because the ego cannot know itself. It's based on different things at every moment. It has different reasons at every turn. It is constantly changing itself, right? It cannot be counted on. That's why you stand up to sing a song for a classroom and you can't sing. right? You're terrified. You can't function. That's because ego has trapped you, right? You want to run over and say hi to this person that's wonderful and beautiful and looks divine, and you're just attracted and want to talk to them. But you stand there in the corner, unable to move, because ego has bound you, has shut you down. You know, all these things. You want to run over and help that suffering person on the sidewalk, but suddenly your mind comes up with all reasons. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, I have to get to this place. Oh, I would help if I could. Oh, I didn't bring my checkbook. Right? Ego has bound you, has not allowed you to enjoy yourself the way you would have without it. Right? So this is why we practice. All right, book third, the argument. Sutta, continuing his narrative, tells how Suka began to teach King Parikshit the holy Bhagavatam and repeats after him its opening chapters. In these chapters, Maitreya relates to Vidura the story of creation and the lives of Manu, Satarupa, and Kapila, the first of mankind. All right, we'll go ahead and start here. So chapter 1, Vidura and Maitreya. Now, continued Suka, I will begin the teachings of the most sacred Bhagavatam by relating the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Vidura and Maitreya, sages of great fame, were disciples of Sri Krishna. Vidura renounced the world in his early youth and wandered about to many places of pilgrimage. His mind was always steadfast in the thought of the Lord of love. He was a free soul, perfected in the love of God. Maitreya was also a free soul, learned in divine wisdom. What a beautiful way to describe somebody. Can you imagine being described by perfected in the love of God? It's amazing. A free soul, learned in divine wisdom. Once during his wanderings, Vidura visited Maitreya, who was then living at Hardwar. As soon as they met, their hearts melted in divine love for each other. They spent many happy days together, conversing on God. One day, Vidura, musing, said, O great sage, although men are always running about in search of happiness, suffering is their unhappy lot. Can anything be done to remedy this? Pray tell me, what would bring the greatest good to humanity? Oh, what a... Anyway, I wish I'd asked that question. It's kind of embarrassing to me that I'm 61 and I've never asked God that question. Please tell me, what would bring the greatest good to humanity? What a way to start the day. How can I bring the greatest good to humanity today, Mother? There are people who, because of their bad karmas from the past, engage in evil pursuits and devote no time to the thought or worship of God. Now, this is true. Why? Because your bad karmas disallow you from being comfortable in the presence of God. As long as your body identified, you're going to be uncomfortable in God. You know, as long as you identify with body mind, you're going to have aspects of selfishness that make you uncomfortable. You're going to have aspects of different impurities that are going to make you feel unworthy. Right? So these are why that we are running about in search of happiness and not being able to find it. There are people who, because of their bad karmas from the past, engage in evil pursuits. Right? Well, why do they do that? It's important to understand so that we don't make this a class of people that we despise. It's very important that all of us have been members of all of these different castes and groupings throughout time in our different births and lives. And so we should never develop an opinion about a group of people, because that group of people is transient, and you and I have at one point been those people, right? So it's always important to know that. There are people who, because of their bad karmas from the past, engage in evil pursuits and devote no time to the thought and worship of God, right? They engage in evil pursuits. Why? As a distraction to their discomfort. They don't know that what they're doing is wrong. They don't know that what they're pursuing is hurting them. They don't understand. And so their only solace is worldliness, distraction. Get my mind off of this. Take me away for a moment, right? Calgon, take me away. For those TV watchers in the 90s. Right? And so this is what they do. This is what we do when we become worldly. We no longer want to meditate. Why? Because we're not enjoying it. It's a lot of work. It's taking a lot of time. We're not feeling any bliss. We're not getting any happiness out of it. Why am I doing this? I'm going to the movies. Right? So understand yourself. Understand yourself. From bad karmas in the past, engage in evil pursuits and devote no time to the thought or worship of God. For this reason they suffer, indeed. But saints such as you, O Maitreya, devoted to the love of God alone, live in this world solely for the good of humanity. It's really punching me right in the face when I hear that.
There's a word for those people.
Saints.
No,
What?
it's something in Ramakrishna. These certain people came with him. They were choosing to come. They're actually perfect.
Yeah, companions of the divine, the bodhisattvas, or
What's it, bodhisattva?
well, that's the Buddhist word. We have a word in
Yeah.
Vedanta also.
Ishwarakotis.
Ishwarakotis. There it is. Thank you. Yes. Perfect. Yeah, Ishwarakotis. Those are the people
I
that.
think it was even Swami Premananda. I think Ramakrishna saw him as being a Ishwarakoti. He's
Oh yeah,
just like,
most of his disciples, all of his
yeah,
direct disciples, are
forever
considered that.
free. Yeah.
And he says some of
Ishwarakoti.
them had come with Jesus. Some of his disciples were the disciples of Jesus. Some
Oh,
of his
that's
disciples,
gorgeous.
some of his disciples he saw as disciples of Krishna.
Yeah. That
And
is
so,
gorgeous.
yes.
That's him.
So they come solely for the good of humanity. Pray, teach me that eternal knowledge whereby God and his love may be revealed in the hearts of all, that they may find eternal happiness. Oh, wouldn't that be the greatest gift of all to be able to give? You know, I sat down with this group in Santa Barbara today. We had another delicious time together. It was so sweet and so wonderful. You know, we read the story of Bhagavatam, and we just conversed about it for an hour and a half, right? And it was just everybody sharing. You know, all I did was read it, and then I asked everybody to tell me what it meant. And so we went around the room and talked about what it meant, and then I shared the ideas that have arisen in my head from it, and it just was very moving. You know, it was a very moving time. Tell me also about the creation of this universe. It is interesting to learn how God, the one absolute existence, became manifold. As a bee gathers honey from different flowers, so have you gathered the essence of all the scriptures, and you should reveal it for the benefit of mankind. Right? Gathered the essence of all scripture. I love that. There's a notion of interfaith. There's not such thing as interfaith, though, because there's only one faith for different traditions. So it's intertradition. Maitreya. O blessed Vidura, right? I thank you for this inquiry and for the tribute that you pay me. Right? I'm going to read one paragraph and we'll stop here for the day. The creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe are all divine play. In the universe, the self, who is the self of all beings, appears as many. Before creation and in dissolution, the world exists as one absolute existence, which is God. Then there is neither seer nor the seen, right? Because there's one without a second. So there's nobody to see or to be seen. There's only one. Neither subject nor object. There exists only consciousness itself. In that consciousness, which is the absolute God, is the power which divides itself into the seer and the seen, the cause and the effect. This power is called Maya. You see, and this power is what causes the mind to be restless, right? Causes the mind to be active, right? The mind is Brahman until you drop a little tablet of me and mine in it. And as soon as you drop that, have you ever dropped some baking soda into vinegar? You know, you can have a nice little bowl of vinegar just sitting there all nice and clear and calm and just being happy. We're doing nothing. And then you take a couple of tablespoons of baking soda and throw in there, and suddenly it fizzes all over the kitchen, right? If you put it in a jar and plastic bottle and put the top on it, it'll explode the bottle and get everywhere. That's what me and mine does to the mind. When you first create an ego, and what is an ego? The ego is the thought of yourself. That's what an ego is in its essence. It's the thought of you in itself, and it's defining you by the body and mind, because it is the thought of you. And you can only have the thought of you when you have attributes and conditions, right? And so this thought of you that you place in the mind then collects attributes from the memories that it bumps into and creates a sense of you that you then act out in your mind, the world of the changing, in this universe. Right. And that is what causes us to have that feeling of separation, because we live as the thought of ourself within our mind with our own subset of attributes, and everybody has different egos. And so we see difference in everybody. And as long as we're identifying with the changing, we're going to see multiples of everybody. Why? Because we're counting on the senses and our memory. And the senses immediately break God into 5 pieces. You experience the moment in 5 pieces: a taste, a touch, a smell, a sound. Taste, touch, smell, hearing, and seeing, a sight. Taste, touch. Yeah. So it's quite a trick, right, to see things. This duality that he's talking about here in the very beginning, where he self, which is the absolute God, is the power which divides itself into seer and the seen, the cause and the effect. And where's the first place that this happens? Within you, right? Once the mind is active, there's thoughts happening. Well, if there's thoughts happening, somebody's going to be listening to them. So now you've got a talker and you've got a listener, your duality. Welcome to it. You created the duality within yourself first by having a thinker and a listener. But the thinker and the listener are the sourced in the same person. So what are you going to think that you don't already know? Nothing, right? And you'll delude yourself into thinking, no, I learn by thinking about things. No, you don't. Truth is manifested and you think about it. And then you blame the thinking for manifesting it. It's like the pizza story, you know. I thought the pizza made the day perfect, but the day was perfect before I had pizza. But I smelled pizza, and then I desired pizza, and the day was no longer perfect. And so then I bought a pizza, and now the day was perfect again, and I blame the pizza. But the day was perfect before I smelled pizza. Right? So this is the danger of duality. When we don't realize that there's just one, then we end up chasing everything. Right? If we don't realize it's all one without a second, it's all divine, how can we take contentment in it? We can't. And so we're constantly on the run, trying to gather all the pieces of God into one. Right? All right, let's stop there for the day.
Thank you.